College of Social Sciences, Tuesday 19th of July 2022, 12:30 p.m. Congratulations to our University of Birmingham graduates. Here we are in the Grace Hall at the heart of the Edgbaston campus. Attendees, mostly graduates and their friends and family, are seated.
Good afternoon, graduates and guests. Our formal ceremony will begin in just under 10 minutes, but before we get underway, I'm here to provide some brief advice on how to make sure you remain comfortable during today's ceremony. In case you hadn't noticed, it is going to be hot. The Great Hall is more than 120 years old, so there's only limited air cooling in place. So we're going to go through the ceremony at a slightly brisker pace than normal today, but we do want to make sure that you're not sitting here for too long, but also that everyone gets their moment on the stage. The ceremony will last no longer than 1 hour, and we hope that our simply assembled personal fans, which I can see many of you using, will be another souvenir of the graduation on possibly the hottest day of the year. Guests, if you're wearing jackets and ties, you might want to take them off, and you're very welcome to do so. Graduates, if you're feeling uncomfortable in your robes, then please feel free to take them off and your hats during the ceremony until you're able to come up on stage. If at any time any of you are feeling uncomfortable or faint in the hall, then please get up and go to the sides. Our ushers will have some extra water, and if you need to leave the hall for some fresh air, then it is absolutely fine to do so. Welcome also to everyone who will be watching online, on the big screen, or in one of our slightly cooler viewing rooms. Please feel free to clap and cheer along. And if you're online, do add your congratulations to the comments in the live chat. I'm now going to hand over to our musicians while we get the last people in place for the ceremony to begin shortly. Enjoy your day and enjoy the celebrations. Thank you, everyone.
Here are the student musicians. It's great to see them returning to ceremonies following the pandemic. first of our two mace bearers beginning the ceremony. The centenary mace bearer is usually a staff member who has volunteered to take part in the ceremony. The mace bearer enters through the back of the Great Hall and leads a procession of staff to the stage. Bedell, who is the second of the two mace bearers, follows. The maces are placed on the stage for the duration of the ceremony.
I declare the congregation open. Good afternoon and welcome to Birmingham. It's on this really hot day, so it's wonderful to see so many people here. Wonderful to see the graduates here this afternoon, and it's a real pleasure as Vice-Chancellor to welcome you to your graduation. If it wasn't so hot, I'd begin this speech by talking to you about the Great Hall that we're sitting in, the distinguished guests who've spoken on this stage, and how you're part of the history of the university. But the one thing the Great Hall is not so great at is keeping cool. So what we're going to do is we're going to have short speeches today, but we are very much planning to celebrate your graduation in the normal way. Graduands, it has been a real pleasure to have you here as part of our community over the past few years. Some of the people who've taught you are sitting behind me, and I'm sure they'll agree that one of the privileges of our roles is how we see how you've grown and how you've developed during your time here, both in your academic knowledge and, as importantly, as people. You've learnt to study independently, to critique, to debate, and especially over the past 2 years, to be resilient. You've grown in confidence, and outside of your academic efforts, you've made new friends, many of whom will be your friends for life. You've successfully completed your degree and have the knowledge and the skills to address the needs of our world now and into the future. You'll very soon be a graduate of one of the world's top universities. And I hope that your time with us has given you many fantastic memories that stay in your minds forever. There are, of course, many happy people in this room, and I know from relatively recent experience that some of them will have a tear in their eye or a lump in their throats as you walk on the stage to graduate. Your friends and family, like us, are enormously proud of everything you've achieved. And soon, you'll come up onto the stage, and I'll admit you to your degree. This is your moment. When your name is read, that will be your moment of graduation. And family and friends, that's your cue to make a lot of noise. So just a couple of bits of advice. It really is hot. If you're wearing jackets, feel free to take them off. I know all the graduates at the back are wearing robes. The moment you've graduated, you can take your robe off because it is warm, and the hats do add quite a lot of heat as well. Do be careful on the steps. I have to say, I remember memorably a few years ago, somebody was walking down the steps and fell onto the lap of somebody in the front row. And I have to say, we've got a very beautiful front row here, looking forward to somebody landing in there, with them. But if you don't, do be careful as you walk down the steps. Do give a big smile for the cameras. Don't forget to save your moment. Warmest congratulations to everybody. Well done, and thank you very much.
Now for the handing of the scrolls. The graduates will walk from the left of the stage to the centre and collect their scroll from the conferring officer. After they're congratulated, they'll walk off stage.
I'm Professor Deborah Udell, and I'm the head of the School of Education, and I'm going to be reading out the graduates' names as they come up today. So the formal bit: Vice-Chancellor, to you and to the university, I present the names of these graduands as listed in my programme, both in attendance and in absentia, proved worthy to be admitted to their respective degrees.
By virtue of my position as Vice-Chancellor and Principal, I admit those persons listed in the programme to the degrees for which they are presented.
College of Social Science, School of Education, Doctor of Philosophy. For research into using poetry for character education, Christian Guttenson. For research into literacy practices of Nepalese students in complementary schools, Sarah Catherine Nee. For research into supporting provided to children and young people with autism in understanding their diagnosis, Julie Susan Prentice. For research into the process for self-diagnosis of autism as understood by those who have experienced it, Barbara Sandland. For research into the perceptions of repetitive behaviour in children with vision impairment and autism, Akatina Tavaruli. For research into refugees' experiences in and responses to higher education opportunities in Lebanon and Jordan, Wen Yu Wu. Doctor of Applied Educational and Child Psychology. For research into systemic approaches to addressing death, bereavement and loss in schools, Claire Rhymes. For research into the lived experiences of children who are home educated, Joanne Sarah Mumford. For research into Q methodology to gather primary school pupils' views, Priya Parekha. For research into the role of spirituality in the work of educational psychologists, Hannah Victoria Pugh. For research into how the professional practice of educational child psychologists supports the development of youth justice services in England, Louise Elizabeth Rayfield. For research into peak experiences of educational psychology practice during the restrictions caused by COVID-19 in England, Olivia Selina Rogers. For research which applies theory to understand how the COVID-19 pandemic has influenced the way educational psychologists think about their professional identity and future practice, Sarah Elizabeth Sanders. For research into how young people in a local authority resource base understand belonging, Emily Nicole Williamson. Doctor of Education. For research into comparative international perspectives on leadership development in university business schools, Joel Carton. For research into distributed leadership in special education, Carolyn Ann Davis. For research into the relationship between inspection, quality, and non-maintained special schools, Angela Jane Drayton. For research into the fear of teaching LGBTQIA+ relationships and sex education in primary schools from a teacher, educator, and trainee teacher perspective, Jennifer Rowan Lancaster. Master of Arts, Education Leadership, Kirandeep Kaur. Teaching Studies, Anna Sai. Hannah Farmer. Laura Free. Ruth Goley. Mariam Hyatt. Liam Patterson. Master of Education, Inclusion and Special Educational Needs, Sarah Attard. Sarah Jane Kamunzuli. Jacqueline Harvey. Daniela Vella. Social, Emotional and Behavioural Difficulties, Annabelle Side. Elita Vassell. Special Education Autism Children, Rachel Gillian Baker. Lois Gaskell. Joanna Louise Honor. Irina Lennon. Emma Lillis. Master of Education, Lee Derek Billingham. Rachel Ann Botham. Christian Burry. Samuel Job Darby. Erica Valerie Harper. Narisha Singh. Charlotte Emma Sparrow. Kirsten Tinsley. Adam Lee Wesley Walsh. Bachelor of Philosophy, Karen Irvani. Bachelor of Arts, Education, Fartan Abdi. Dekra Abubakar. Tasneema Alam. Hadika Ali. Amelia Atto. Neve Barrow. Fun Mao Chai. Yelun Chen. Beth Winona Coleman. Ellie Louise Draper. Ellie Louise Fletcher. Ashvinda Haya. Alice Grant. Sophie Heffernan. Iman Hussain. Maimouna Hussain. Sorry. Maimouna Hussain. Alana Jacobs. Sinyan Jan. Yuhui Juan. Lucia Iris Jones. Ikra Kalsoom. Iram Kausar. Anna Khan. Shi-Tone Lee. Zichi Lee. Shi-Han Lui. Lo Tieni. Nafisa Iram Mahmood. Mukadas Maruf. No marks. Lucy Marlowe. Ikran Mohammed. Safia Nisra. Juwen New. Jin Peng. Naima Pushki. Sihan Ping. Oliver Prosser. Rayming Chi. Tianyin Kian. Fei Rao. Sean Sandhu. Grace Lydia Smith. Junin Sui. Arthur Vikneswaran. Sumiao Wang. Xinyi Wang. Iran Wang. Chan Si Wei. Angel Williams. Deary Shu. Sao Tong Shu. Ray Kong Yung. Nai Wei Yao. Boyki Chai. Lu Yuan Chang. Xizin Chang. Yin Kai Ji. Tiana Kai Andre. Zai Chao Ti Han. Suli Simon. Bachelor of Science, Psychology and Education. Amelia Rose Bailey. Georgia Bennett. Azara Bochi. Molly Channa. Ashwini Ganguly. Darcy Gilston. Emily Guest. Hannah Jane Harris. Simran Kaur. Veronica Kai. Matthew Lampett. Susanna Moss. Georgina Oakley. Anissa Rafakat. Aman Kaur Shoka. Abby Olivia Thorrington. Sophie White. Chloe Wright. School of Government, Master of Science, Poverty, Inequality and Development, Lena Megani. I'd now like to introduce the student representative who will give a speech on behalf of the graduating cohort. Please welcome Si Chao Zihan, who has done the BA Education and Sociology.
Good afternoon, faculty, graduates of all levels of study in the School of Education, and our friends and families. I want to start my speech with a huge congratulations to all graduates sitting here today. We should really be very proud of ourselves for completing this long and tough journey during such a hard period under the influence of the global pandemic. It is absolutely my pleasure to share this unique moment with all of you. On behalf of all graduates, I also want to extend my tremendous gratitude to all faculty members and admin staff in the School of Education. Thank you so much for all those amazing lectures, seminars, tutorials, workshops, and constant guidance which supported us probing deeper into the wonderful academic world of education. Finally, a huge thank you to all of our friends and families who genuinely love us and support us. It is truly a fortunate to have you in our life. My preparation of this speech brought me back so many memories. I recalled those sunny afternoons that I spent on the bench, enjoying sunshine and breeze. I didn't know how rare those sunny days were until I moved to Birmingham. I recall the beautiful green lighting visible from our old jail. It strangely made me just feel calm every time I left the main library in late evenings. I recalled all modules I took, those informative lectures, deep seminar discussions, and insightful readings. I can talk about those wonderful experiences I have underwent on this campus for the whole day and night, but sadly, I only have enough time to share with you those most precious bits. I recall that during the welcoming week, I learned a fun fact that our motto of our university, yet that Latin phrase on our university crest, literally means through efforts to high things. What are the high things? At the time when I first heard about this motto, as a new student who was still wandering around and didn't have a clear clue about where I want to go and how I get there, I simply equalized those high things to my personal advancements. I thus find myself attached to this motto. Throughout my life, I've heard people teaching me similar lessons all the time. We should pursue personal success, which we can secure only with our own efforts. The whole social environment under which I grew up ubiquitously conveyed this message to me as the ultimate truth of we human beings' life. From time to time, I recalled our motto and then realized that I have changed dramatically by this university in the past 3 years. What high things means to me, an education student, and today an education graduate, became different. It became different when we learned that the operations of the education system constantly reproducing inequalities in our society while attributing individual sufferings and painful struggles to personal deficits and poor life aspirations. It became different when we learned that unequal power relations can be rendered as the natural ways our society works, while in fact they might actually be the naturalized way our society works. It became different when we sit together with our fellow classmates, supported by the distinguished academics in our school, to explore not only how education is exploited to perpetuate inequalities, but more importantly, how education holds the transformative power to eliminate those inequalities and turn this world into a more equal, just, and inclusive space for all. At Birmingham, we are set free to crave personal advancement. Through our years of study at Birmingham, we developed knowledge, skills, attitudes, and resilience that allow us to keep challenging and transcending our limits. At Birmingham, however, what I love the most about Birmingham and our lovely School of Education is that we are empowered by our life here to move towards high things more than individual advancement. We are empowered to never stop pondering, to make inequalities visible, to speak up against injustice, and more importantly, just in the same way Birmingham has brought possibilities to all the graduates through education, we are empowered to do the same, bringing possibilities to children, young people, and adults in education systems around the world. Congratulations again. Many, many congratulations, my fellow graduates, for your arrival at this crucial milestone and for your beginning of the next chapter in your life. Wherever we will go after we say goodbye to each other today, I wish you all the best in your future journey. Thank you.
Thank you. Following that speech is a little bit difficult, so if you go away, just remember the words of our wonderful student representative, that we should be making inequality visible, addressing injustice, and using education to be transformative. So I think she said it all. So it just falls to me, I'm Pro Vice-Chancellor for Research and Knowledge Exchange, to give the closing speech for this graduation. It's been a real privilege to be here and celebrate with you. As I've watched you come up one by one, your faces have said it all. You really have gone on a journey. You have completed your degree in extraordinarily challenging times. You've done it. You are now graduates of the University of Birmingham. Congratulations. In a matter of minutes, you will leave this very great, very beautiful, but very hot hall and go out into the hot but more breezy Green Heart to celebrate with your fellow graduates, your family and your friends. This marks the end of one chapter of your life and the beginning of the next. Some of you will know exactly what you will do next. Others will be still considering options, exploring and learning. You will each find your own path. And wherever you end up, whatever path you travel, you will always be part of the Birmingham family. Our career service remains open to you, and our alumni relations team run events for recent graduates and can connect you with other graduates across the world. When you remember us, and I hope you will remember us often, remember us with affection and pride, for we are exceptionally proud of you. So, when you leave here, be proud and upstanding graduates of the University of Birmingham. Work hard, take opportunities, stand up for what's right, and support those around you, whatever you choose to do next. There are many global challenges, many inequalities to be addressed, and we need to do this, as our student speaker said, collectively. It's not just about individual success. It is people like you, our amazing graduates, in big ways and small, who will be the ones to change the world. You entered this great hall today as graduands. You leave as graduates of the University of Birmingham. All that remains is for me to wish you all the luck in the world. Class of 2022, well done.
Graduates, faculty, ladies and gentlemen, today's a bittersweet day for us because while we celebrate your graduation, this is Heather Widow's very last one as our Pro Vice-Chancellor. Heather's going to be moving to the University of Warwick at the end of the summer. She joined Birmingham in 1999 and has had a named chair in global ethics since 2009 and is a very distinguished and very well-known philosopher. She was responsible for leading the university's extraordinary improvement in the impact of our research. Impact is basically the contribution that universities make to the world outside of universities, and has been the university's Pro Vice-Chancellor for Research, as she said. Heather, your warmth, your dynamism and your passion will be missed by us all, but we all wish you great joy in Coventry. Heather. And with that, I declare the congregation closed.
Congratulations to our new graduates. The attendees applaud our new graduating class. To close the ceremony, the maces are collected from the stage. The mace bearers lead the procession of staff and new graduates out of the Great Hall. The ceremony that completes the university journey for hundreds of Birmingham alumni is now closed. The live stream has now ended.